Just one last thing that I thought I could, if I could ask you to speak about, which is, in the past, as you were setting up your export business, because that was
Mhm.
something that you did
Yes.
completely on your own, and that was a very entrepreneurial endeavor, right? And your next entrepreneurial endeavor is really around, value addition and the automation that you're talking about, right? To overcome your current challenges and to help grow the company. But in the past, when you were setting up export, what was the biggest challenge that you faced? And can you just talk through how you approached that challenge, how you overcame it? What were the fundamental, solutions you put in place? And at the end of it, how did you, your company and your team, how were they better off because of the challenge and everything that you did to overcome it?
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting question. Uh, the biggest challenge that I faced was a transition. The transition where I mean, when we were supplying to the domestic market and then we wanted to shift to the international market. See, I think one must understand that the traditional family businesses are not very prone to change. They always resist change. They have that fear. They don't have that professional management. They don't have that professional thinking. You know, it was a new concept that I brought into the business, the family business that I joined. And yes, the transition period was the biggest challenge because when we were transiting from the domestic market to the international market, we in those days we did not have those amount, or we didn't have sufficient funds. And yes, people in the family felt that I was taking over their bread and butter because we were depleting on the domestic business, and we were just starting off with the international business. So that transition, and we didn't have those volumes in those days. It was really hard work. We couldn't travel because of insufficient funds. I mean, traveling internationally wasn't easy in those days. Uh, Contacting clients, but yes, the how I handled it. Uh, Although I was, you know, told that I was told various stories about I was given a lot of examples of people who failed in this business, and although they were more financially stable than us, and I was told if certain people are not certain financially stable people couldn't succeed, how would you succeed? So my reply to them was, I had a geographical advantage. People who did not succeed were people who were sitting in other parts of the country and trying to do this business, and we were the people who were supplying to them. So I said, I have the geographical advantage, I have the market with me, I have the supply chain with me, so why can't I succeed? And yes, when I got my first order, my family was very happy. Definitely, it was from Australia, but uh, yes, through hard work, through contacts, and through various seminars, webinars, and various studies, I had to convince my people, especially my elders, that yes, this can be done. Because what had been in those days, they only saw what they could, they only saw what they did it. They never had the vision of looking beyond certain things. So it was a challenge explaining to them. I think the first 5 to 6 years were very, very challenging. We had our domestic markets going down. We didn't have those enough volumes in the international market. So it was literally, business down to 25% of what we used to do in the domestic market. But slowly and gradually, we had to work hard and, you know, had to keep our nerves. I had to keep my nerve, not get very excited of doing certain things. And slowly and gradually, I developed my contacts through various friends in the industry. And that's how we got through that. The advantage that we had in even going through this was the goodwill that my forefathers had established. I mean, anywhere around the country, they went with the name Manilal Jamnadas. We were very well known. My grandfather was the one who started off this business. So he started off with the business supplying to people, to all the traders in Gujarat in those days. Then my father took over. When my father took over, he expanded the business to other parts of the country outside Gujarat. And then I started off supplying internationally. So we had that background, we had that goodwill. Anywhere you went, nobody's spoke otherwise of us. So that was a big advantage to me. And I had to cash in on the goodwill, and I hope I've cashed in quite well. That's for others to decide. I can't decide that.
That's very nice. Anything else that you want to add?
Well, you want me to speak about motivating people, or what do you want me to?
Actually, the two things that you spoke about, right? Value addition and automation. You want to talk a little bit about how you're approaching that, and in that context, motivate, and then in the end, just kind of talk about what would your advice be to somebody who wants to get into this business today?
Okay. Now, in the automation sector, I would, if I look at the entire basket of how we operate at the moment, we have a lot of labor carrying the bags, putting it in the machine, and then processing it. You could have elevators, you could have conveyor belts in your factory where you can load and unload the, cargo. The other thing that I think what we can do is you can have artificial intelligence working in a great way for us, especially for the price discovery. We need to, of course, give a lot of input to the artificial intelligence, a lot of data input. But I think with the history and the data input that we would like to give them is artificial in AI can really help us in the price discovery, and also on the soil discovery. A lot of, today you go to the farms, you go to the fields, there's a lot of talk about organic production. So how would you determine the soil? Probably, I think artificial intelligence, if that can be done, I don't know how that can be done, but it can be done. It needs a lot of brainstorming sessions, how these things can be done. But if you can say if a certain amount of land or certain soil is viable for organic production or not, and if yes, how much product, what would be the yield, and what would be the production. So that is one area that I think is could be mentored into. And today, as I told you in the beginning, we need to operate machines. Today not everybody, Unja is a small town, and now the young generation that is coming in, they maybe don't have the education facilities, and the recreational facilities are not very good out here. So people are shifting from, they may have their businesses out here, but they would be living maybe 100 kilometers, 200 kilometers away. Not possible for them to come down every day and operate the machines. So that is one area where I feel automation can take place. I mean, like you have your UPI payments and digital payments. I see a lot of, I've come across quite a few people who are sitting in the US and operating their packaging machines in India through mobiles or through AI. So I think this is one area where it can be looked into. It requires a lot of capital investment. It's not going to be cheap. But yes, I mean, this is one thing. We need to minimize labor. Physical labor we need to minimize, because what I see in the coming days, labor is going to be a big challenge in India. Although we are a country of 140 billion people, but I'm not going to go more into details of why we are facing, because that would be a very controversial thing. But yes, I mean, the labor out here, although people at times, they don't have food on their plate and still they don't want to work. And that's a very controversial thing as to why they don't want to work, because they're getting a lot of free things from the government, and they're self-sufficient in that way. So that's a big challenge. So I think we need to minimize labor and get more on automation. Skilled labor is also needed for all this. Yes.
Right. That's wonderful. Do you want to also talk about the value addition, the move, the transitioning to that, or the additional focus on that?
Yes,
And
the
what
value
could
addition.
huh,
Yes, the value addition. I think it's a great market. In every kitchen that you go today, you can't do without any spices. Every hotel, every restaurant that you eat food, you can't do without spices. You have a lot of the food industry is in leaps and bounds. It's increasing. So you need to cater to the taste of a particular market that you want to cater to. And value addition, say your seasonings, your spice mixes, your powders. India is, I think, in terms of restaurants and hotels, India has just started. That's what I feel. And in days to come, in times to come, this is going to be a great industry to cater to. So I would suggest that please go. I mean, if somebody doesn't want to go into what to say value addition, at least go in for your retail packaging, because what the world today trusts is a brand. I mean, nobody. I mean, yeah, I'm sure you all know what happens in the food industry. We all read in the newspapers every day about adulteration and this and that. So once your brand is trusted, once you have those you overcome those initial hiccups of the competition, I think you need to build a customer trust, develop your own brand, and that is where you can take things forward from. Yes, a lot of patience is required for that. uh, in Gujarati we say ki bhai, any business you have to give it 1,000 days. So yes, if you go haywire in those 1,000 days, then you're not going to succeed. But you've got to be very patient. You've got to be very disciplined and very meticulous in your planning.
that's great. Wonderful. I think we've got some really good stuff from you, and we will share with you once we have the post production done
Sure.
for this. And then we will look forward to connecting with you again once you have moved into both automation and your value
Sure.
addition to kind of do the post as well.
No, no. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your wishes, and I wish you a very, I wish your foundation great success. You're doing a
Thank you.
wonderful job, a great job. I mean, I'm really impressed. I mean, I don't think in my 35 years of being in the business, I've ever come across such a foundation that is doing such a wonderful job. I mean, hats off to you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for saying that.
yes, I mean, it's
And we
really,
we yeah, go ahead.
I mean, what I've come across, a lot of people do charity, a lot of people, go into a lot of charity work. But
Mm,
the work that you are doing is on the ground. You know what the people require, what is the need of the day, and you're motivating a lot of people. And it's great, and that is what we need. See, I think what we've been taught right from our education is like only A for apple, and the moment you say A for aeroplane, people say you're mad. So that out of the box thinking is required, and that is what you are promoting and motivating. It's a great job.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And we'll continue to look forward and work with you and your federation as well, because I think
Sure.
those local associations that the touch with the local people, the local events, the local knowledge is very critical for each ecosystem. At the national and the international level, there's a lot of knowledge already available, but it ends up being very theoretical unless you can nuance it with the local insights and the local infrastructures and the mentors and the cultural nuances as well of operating
Yes.
locally. So I think those are all things that we are hoping to continue to kind of build on as we go out and strengthen everything that we're doing for first the Gujarat ecosystem and then across the country, perhaps replicate that for hundreds of other ecosystems. That's the goal
Thank you.
here.
And one more suggestion. I mean,
Yes, please.
since you have a lot of good connections with the government, either at the state level or at the central level, one thing I have already suggested this to the Gujarat government, and probably they would be implementing is we need to promote agricultural tourism in the country,
Makes
because
sense. Yeah.
like you have those food festivals and your cultural events. I think a lot of people are. I mean, we've suggested to the government whenever there is from cultivation to the harvest stage, those 2-3 months, promote them as agricultural tourism. Let people come and visit the fields. Let people come and see how food is grown, how food is brought to their plate. So I think this is one thing that I would really like to see. I've suggested this to the Honorable Chief Minister of Gujarat, and probably while signing the MOU at Vibrant Gujarat, I'll speak to him about it again. And I really want to take this forward because Gujarat is a state which controls about 50 to 60% of the agriculture production.
Mm.
In spices, yes, we do. Even in millets, and there are a lot of other things. So I think this could be probably. I feel this could be a game changer for the state
Mm.
or for any
Mm.
state.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine how that could be both for domestic and international as well.
Yes, yes,
Because I mean, as you say, Gujarat and India are pretty primary as far as spices go.
yes,
And what you can get to see and feel here, both with your your major and your minor spice areas, could
yes,
be dramatically powerful, because I think Kerala has a different flavor, and then Gujarat has a completely different flavor, and that kind of tourism could be very powerful, both domestically and internationally.
yes. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. I don't know
Mm.
how. Yeah, we are going there with very good intentions. Let's see how things pan
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, you probably need not just the government's focus, but you need to find entrepreneurs who would love to do that and to kind of get
Yes,
started on the ground
yes,
too. I
yes.
think that combination is what is required. But yeah, it's a great idea.
So
So hopefully
let's
we'll
see.
see some of that. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
All right,
Thank you
Smita.
again.
Thank you.
I'm really grateful, and I look forward to meeting you sometime.
Sure, sure. We'll
Okay.
surely catch up. Definitely.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Yeah.
Okay. Bye
Thank
bye.